have meetings with villagers who have been trained about the midday meal program, public distribution system, Anganwadi daycare services, what schools are supposed to provide. And the mothers, mostly, the mothers go back into their communities and they check and see, are the kids being fed only oatmeal, which of course is one thing that can happen, instead of the full range of midday meal. You're nodding as a food bank person. As opposed to the full range of nutritious meals that children are supposed to receive through this program. Sometimes local officials take the food and sell it somewhere else and give the kids oatmeal. Okay, so mothers are monitoring this vigilantly. They'll go every other day. They'll have a system where it's checked every other day to make sure that the food is provided that it's supposed to be. So at any rate, that's the idea of good governance now, is that there's local vigilance by villagers. So these are the slogans that we use for talking about how to approach these issues. Certainly community participation is key. Designing solutions that are affordable and replicable is key. And in terms of accessing funds, not only are there the funds from the Sago Foundation, but we are, for many of these projects, able to access government funds for the water projects, for example, and for midday meals there are funds and so forth. So we're trying to help villagers understand how government is supposed to serve them. Money is appropriated, and they can tap into that. The private sector does work with us, besides us being a little bit private sector, but we also have Mosaic, a fertilizer company that is helping with a farmer education project and helps with farm demonstrations to show that proper soil health, micronutrients, and water, drip irrigation and so forth can have a tremendous effect on yield for the farmers locally. One thing that I foresee we will be doing much more is this NGO-university partnership idea. There are NGOs all over India. There are universities all over India. They don't necessarily work together very well to serve the localities around them. And I hope that that's something that IRRAD will be able to promote more of. We have 4 centers. Natural Resource Management does all the water projects I mentioned earlier. It also does agricultural support and a little bit of orchard management. Capacity building is a center that works with panchayats and works with the village level committees such as health and sanitation and school management committees. So they're teaching the elected and appointed officials what their roles are, because in one instance we had a grant from the state of Haryana, so they officially wanted us to do this in this particular Mewat district. But otherwise, with the village level committees, we're doing it because we realize unless they have a good role model as to how they could represent their communities, that they won't know exactly what to do and may do nothing. The Policy Governance and Advocacy Center is the arm of the office that is doing the Good Governance Now program. And in addition to the trainings, it does liaise with local officials, trying to provide platforms for the villagers to talk about the problems that they have, to get attention from local government officials. Then underlying all of this, one thing that's unique about IRRAD is the Rural Research Center. We have economists. We even have an economist from Japan with us right now who's volunteering for a year. And they do baseline studies at the beginning of projects, and they look at the impact of projects at the end. So we have a lot of data on and analysis on what works. I think this is an unusual picture. A lot of the children I see do not have desks. They're sitting on burlap. This slide gives an idea of some of the partnerships that we have with in various areas. There's one, and we've received recognitions all before I came, so I commend the staff for doing what they've done so far. So we look forward to working with you. Those of you who are interested, I've already had some inquiries about possible volunteering, inquiries from Dee, who has brought her students to IRRAD and has studied some of our programs. The one last point I'd like to make is that through good luck and good connections, I was appointed to a subcommittee of the Planning Commission that is looking at the interface between engagement of community and higher education institutions. And so that subcommittee is making a recommendation for the 12th five-year plan about how that intersection can be used to help India's efforts to alleviate poverty. And I look forward to, I'm happy to talk with anybody who wants to work on connecting academic institutions and NGOs to have more impact in India. Thanks very much. I look forward to